What's going on, everybody? LK here. A little bit of an impromptu video. They did have the Dragon Ball FighterZ show at this point yesterday. The patch will be dropping the same day as this video, maybe a little bit after this video. I don't actually know the exact time the patch is dropping. If you, for some reason, missed last night's Dragon Ball show, essentially they made a brand new game. This is about as close as possible as we're gonna get to Dragon Ball FighterZ 2. No mention of new netcode, but so many changes at a system level, and then basically all the characters got buffs. This video is not going to be so much about the specific character buffs. I am going to touch on things I think are important. I'm going to talk about the game at a macro level and how I feel about it. But I just want to talk about just this patch. It's a really huge patch. This is essentially, to me, like the equivalent of a season 4 with no DLC. If you don't watch the rest of this video, basically how I feel about this patch right now is that this is what I lovingly call the fuck it patch that sometimes that some companies make when they're, I'm not gonna say done, but like they're done. Like, I don't expect them to add any more characters to the game. I don't really expect them to update the netcode or anything. I don't actually even expect them to do another patch for this game. I think what we got is what we got. As a side note too, which I'm not going to touch on too much, but they are actually going to support the game in tournaments for a little while longer too, so that's really nice. But at least like the spread of changes and how massive the changes are, usually for the big patches, it's a lot of like character changes. There's system changes in there too, but it's like usually massive character changes. But this is both huge system changes and character changes, and the system changes, honestly, as somebody who's played this game since really before it came out, like I actually got to play the closed beta of this game, these patch notes are crazy. So where do I even begin? So first, I want to start with the Z change. I'm not gonna use the footage that they have. Again, I just kind of want to like summarize the things I think are really important and how it really affects the game. So the Z change can now be performed for special moves. So this is something that's really similar to, I want to say, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. You can literally do it off any special move, beams, long duration special moves like Gotenks EX Spin, or like Yamcha's Wolf Fang Fist, and the character that comes in is going to do Super Dash. Apparently there's a little bit of landing recovery, but again, like the fact that you can do this changes so much about the game's offense, health management, combos. It's a really major change. They also changed guard cancel, so now there's an air guard cancel. So for the most part, for your people who are good at like chasing people down and doing like buttons and enforcing them down like that, you guys are fine. They actually specifically reference a tactic I really like to use. Side note, I did feel a little bit attacked by this patch, a little bit, but I'm happy for everybody. But they really mention like my type of neutral structures, where like for example with Gotenks, I like to do dash medium Beyblade to catch people, and then I'll call an assist to bring them down to the ground. Like these type of neutral structures are really important to me, and conveniently, air guard cancel beats this stuff. It's another defensive option. It doesn't look super strong, but it looks good at specific stuff. We have to see how that works. There's also guard cancel vanish, so there's a 2-bar defensive option now where you can cancel your guard cancel into vanish. It's pretty expensive, but it looks decently strong. Dragon rush, you can do a bunch of stuff now. So the main thing about Dragon Rush is that it has much longer range if you do it out of a key charge, and now the key charge is frame 1. So they're trying to get people to use key charge. This is like a general neutral strategy. Some teams are honestly kind of bodied by neutral in this game now because people use like base Vegeta, Broly, Android 21. So this is like a change they're using to kind of deal with both. They also suggested too that this change could be used in combos. That's a big one. Sparking Blast, right? Sparking Blast has a big one. Now, Sparking Blast will not run out if you are doing a combo, like doing damage to the opponent, when the opponent is in limit break. So this is another attempt for them to try to make limit break a thing. I did talk about limit break before and how I thought it didn't affect the game that much. Like, it was kind of a thing, but it's not like a big thing. They're still trying to force this comeback mechanic thing. They don't like how people mostly use their spark on their point characters, but I think this thing's never going to change, honestly, about the game. They removed chip damage from some Z assists, not a big deal. For you people who really don't like Z assists, shout outs to my boy Lotus Kura. They added more cooldown to C assists. It's another one that kind of hurts my team too, by the way. And a lot of these like C beam assists especially type teams. So the trade-off is they buffed a lot of C assists, but there's even more cooldown on it, which is kind of intense. They buffed Vanish. They said it was to deal with guard cancel Vanish. So the big thing that it says is that it's invincible now from the beginning of the move if the opponent is doing a Vanish. So I low-key feel like this is also to help online, but they did say that it's for guard cancel Vanish specifically, but we gotta see. So they changed the meter penalty now. So the way they listed in the notes is that it increases scaling only depending on time and not what the opponent is getting hit by. They kind of worded this pretty oddly, but they did show it on stream, and I'm sure people are going to experiment with it a lot. It's definitely going to make more characters really explosive. This is like a thing that, like, especially if you play gold tanks, you pay attention to because of like level 1. It's not specifically for EX moves, but like it's for level 1. But the half all EX moves also not taking forever to build your meter back is bound to help a ton of characters. One they showed Cell, but one that I was really thinking of was Trunks because of course EX Cyclo mix. Usually that follow-up mix-up he doesn't build a lot of meter, but now he's gonna gain a significant amount more depending on where you're doing it, depending on what combo he does. Now they changed a bunch of stuff about jump, and one thing that basically I feel like every competitive Dragon Ball player has been complaining about is that they nerf mix a lot, and this change I think just really throws open the door to mix, and like maybe you don't have to play Kid Buu. I mean, as if the Z change it's a terrible way of wording it, but the Z change as if that didn't do enough. Basically everything that puts you airborne automatically gives you a super jump install, which means it has float properties. So characters like Goku Black, now you don't have to break your hands to do the mix-up. Now you just get it from teleport right away. Base Vegeta is going to get it from knee and EX, not even EX kick, just normal L rocket kick right away. But basically, like, every move that puts you in the air will give you float. So just like go to town. Go to town is gonna be so much more left right, so much more high low. It's pretty well established that super jump float and super jump fast fall is like pretty hard to defend mix. So now a ton of characters have this available, which is pretty nuts. So they also made a change to super jump specifically to make it easier for people to move with moon jump. So I was thinking about it all day, and I thought personally, oh, like this change doesn't affect me because like I practiced moon jump the manual way, like with the macro and stuff, like reaching over to the far side of the stick, pressing the pinky. But this should give it to absolutely everybody now. So hitbox players, sorry, you guys aren't special anymore, but now what we can do is by holding S, if you just jump, you get it. So now it's much easier, much faster to do. It's not locked behind that execution thing. If you are in the club of people who learned how to do it the manual way before, cool, respect. But now everyone can do it, and the game's gonna be at least people will be moving around more. They also increased damage scaling at their supers, but it's not that much. So actually in Season 3, there were cases where, like for example, my old team of Base Vegeta, Trunks, Broly, there were cases where you could do, like, let's say, a level 1 with Base Vegeta into Broly level 1 into Trunks level 1. Broly continues his level 1, and then Trunks gets a really short extension into a 4th level 1. That combo is extremely scaled, but there are situations where that's the best combo. And because of this change, you're going to see more of them and more of that now. Of course, they showed us SJ Goku, so this is not like truly like the Season 1 style, but for my people in the optimization station, you will have a lot to explore with this change as well. Okay, so the last big change reads in an interesting way. So the other two are kind of just like quality of life stuff with jump with heavy attack and 2H. Honestly, 2H is a buff for a lot of characters, how they changed it. But this last one is really interesting. It's again another way to kind of like tone down some of the key blast zoning in the game. So now when you use a move that deflects key blast, that's not super dash or reflect, you can now do other stuff. it might have sounded a little weird, but they did show this on the stream. I also want to explore this a little bit more as well. As you can see here, major system overhaul. Okay, as I mentioned before too, I don't really want to go through all the characters changes in this video. I do actually want to get hands-on and like show specific things, so I'll be doing that in a later video this week. But the biggest thing is they really went ham on the changes. The reason why I call it the fuck it version, as I called it at the beginning of the video, is that they went just really aggressive how they changed the game. I feel like this is the closest they've made it to like an actual team game. So what I mean is, like, I feel like in the past, the changes we've seen so far from this game, they just tend to be afraid of buffing characters, making the game too crazy. But at this point, you know, it's been 3 years. Yeah, really, it really has been 3 years. We've been playing this game since 2018. They have a pretty good idea of how to make characters, what's strong in the game at this point. So not only did they add just a bunch of quality of life to make sure that a lot of the advanced techniques were more accessible, so things like moon jump, super jump install, things like that. But also they just gave people what we asked for. It's not just buffs, but they also just pushed the chaos level. The character powers all seem, at least right now, seem very high. It seems like everyone only got buffs. To be quite honest, the only shit they nerfed is stuff that I do. So I don't want shit in this game. They nerfed fucking Gotenks a little bit. They buffed Roshi, but nerfed the B assist. And then Broly, who's everyone's character. That's the community's character, Broly. You know, he got some buffs. So like, we will see. But to me, with this, I think it's really mission accomplished. Like, now, not only because honestly, I would say you're kind of hating if you were like, oh, you can't play whatever you want in Season 3. Because honestly, you really could. I know you guys like to complain, but you really could. I think they did that with Season 3 very well. So I think now it's like, not only can you really play what you want, but also, at least in the short term, at least for the next like 6 months, no one's gonna know what really is good. Everyone's gonna play the characters that they want. No one can really complain about nerfs because they literally buffed everybody in the game. Everyone has 3 assists. It's literally the patch that everyone asked for, and they went so ham on the changes that, like, I would, outside of like if someone finds something that literally breaks the game, I don't expect another patch for this game. Alright, let me know what you guys think, though. Again, shoutouts to Tyrant and Damascus for doing Dragon Ball Show, and of course, my teammate, Apology Man, even though he put me in the abyss during this showing, he did a really good job as the analyst. I hope you guys do enjoy. Again, later this week, I'll do a thorough video. I'll probably do it on stream, to be honest, of just going through the changes one by one. Again, I'm doing this before the patch is on PS4 at least, so I can't really do that. I'll have a link to the patch notes if you haven't seen it. They're all screen capped by this dude named Ken Zyro. Sorry if I said your name wrong, dude. I'm going to link to his Twitter in the description below. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.